April here on Tarot and Witchery. Hello all. This is my next installment of A Year in the Wildwood with the Ace and the King of Arrows. I meant to do this sooner, but here we are. Before I move on and into my off-the-cuff, rough thoughts on these cards, I want to invite you to check out my learning library in the link in the description box down below. There's all sorts of tarot spreads and other goodies in there that you might want to check out. So without further ado, here we go into the Wildwood. Listen, I know some of you are incredibly clever and, you go on here and you have these incredible revelations, but I have to say, this Ace of Arrows really throws me for a loop. I can't tell what's going on here. It really defies logic for me. Breath of life. I have ideas about what that means. Seems that breath is rising from the earth as an arrow shoots straight up out of the earth into the sky. Is that water? Looks like water with maybe the sky reflected in it. I'm really gonna have to defer to the book on this one because I'm just not getting much of anything out of this. And I'm including this because sometimes I think as tarot tubers we can come off as knowing it all, or having these profound ideas, and I have none here, folks. Actually, I really love the idea that I don't have any idea about this card, because the aces hold all the potential of the suit, and to me the idea that I can't really pin down air, the element of the mind, that I can't really pin it down, that the breath of life is something so incredibly intangible in a way that I can't describe it. I can't understand it with my eyes. It's something that I feel like this card is blowing my mind open, is taking away those predisposed notions. This isn't our typical Ace of Swords. It's something completely different, and I don't find myself warring over the idea of how that matches up with the RWS. So I'm really loving the idea of just sort of meditating on this card, seeing where it takes me, but I do feel like it kind of creates a spaciousness in my mind where I am unable to create something from what I already know, and therefore I'm open to it being whatever it wants to be. All right, it's sunset. I have to admit that I cheated just a little bit on the Kingfisher card here. I was unfamiliar with this animal, and so I read a little blurb designed for children on it. And I had a chance to walk all the way up and then down the mountain and think about this. I think it's a really interesting juxtaposition of the Ace of Arrows. So we have the beginning and the end of the suit. And I think sometimes we think of the 10 as the end of a suit, but really it ends with the court cards. Turns out that the Kingfisher, sorry I had to stop, that goose was just going nuts. Turns out that the Kingfisher is actually born underground. So there's his habitat back there, and at some point his parents burrowed about 3 to 6 feet into the bank back there, and burrowed into the bank and hatched this little bird. And so he emerged from the ground much like that quizzical Ace of Arrows there. He emerged like that arrow. So for me, I kind of see the arrow as emerging from that eye in the ground. I don't know that it's meant to look like that. That's what I sort of see. And to me, the king is the embodiment of the suit, the entire suit, from Ace all the way to the end. All of the experiences that are held within the Ace up to the king, the queen, all of them are embodied in the king. And so I love this idea of the Kingfisher emerging from the ground, much like the arrow over here. I don't know why my camera's having trouble focusing. Sorry, everybody. And it shoots up. And what's really interesting is it's sort of a full circle, because the Kingfisher stays above on a branch and waits patiently, and then it dives down, straight down into the water. So it's as though the arrow begins the suit going up into the realm of possibilities, and then fully embodied within all of those possibilities, we have the kingfisher, who then dives straight down, straight as an arrow into the water to catch its prey. And I love this idea. I love the idea of having all of that wisdom to be able to shoot and catch that target, to be able to grab hold of what it is you set your eyes on. And that's sort of the sovereignty that the king embodies for me. So interesting little rabbit hole for me, but I really enjoyed learning about him and his odd way of fishing and being in the world. I have to say, I'm really fascinated by this idea of taking these cards through the wheel of the year, and this being about this time of spring, this time where it's cold and chilly and there's a nip. And so we've come to this king of arrows who shoots straight and sharp, this kingfisher that cuts through the waters and dives deep. And of course, it makes sense to me that arrows, which is normally swords and is the suit of air, would be during this chilly time of the year, during the winter time, during this time of deep contemplation. And also, for me, it's a rejuvenatory time. It's a time where I have the chance to go in and really think about what I want to be and do, and there's a time of rest for me. And yet now there's this burgeoning energy, and I do feel like the air suit moves quickly and swiftly, and so does the energy moving up to spring.